guys, shall we get straight into it on this one? We are in here to plaster this room, which is a kitchen. We've got the ceiling to do, which has a stipple on it, and judging by the shine on that, that's got a bit of a silky paint on there, so there's not going to be any suction on it, sorry. Looks like the electrician has been running wires for downlights, and fortunately he has saved the hole. So what we are going to do, we're going to cut, this one's alright there because it's on a joist. I don't know why suddenly that disappears, who knows. We see his wires up here, so what we're going to do is going to cut a bit of batten that's going to sit above the board here, and it's going to overlap a little bit of wood, a little bit of batten wood, come to there. We're going to screw up, we're going to hold the batten down, we're going to screw up into it and pull the batten to the back of the board, and then of course then we've got a little bit of batten through here that we can screw those little circles back in with. Chases to fill up, and there's still quite a bit of tile adhesive on there, which is going to make things a little bit of an issue. Ideally, you really kind of need to get this back. We need to get that back as good as we can. We'll see how we get on with that. That's probably the first job I am going to do, is go around and scrape all this up. This looks like, judging by how soft that is, that looks like that's going to be old Carlight browning. Yeah, look, you've got the old bead here. Got some dry beads, so what I'm probably going to do, because we've got this damage here, just because it's all round and stuff, we may as well just roll. Sorry, the job quota is to do the ceiling, do from here round to here, okay? Not touching this wall or the outside of this or above the radiator, although there is a bit of making good in there, in that cupboard as well. Oh, look. A bit of messing around in there. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get a bead to go over this whole thing, a thin coat bead. Okay, and all I'm going to do then is feather into that. This is going to be incredibly high suction. Whatever. And the other thing we've got to do is this ceiling out here again, which is the same deal, stipple. And we got, I'm not sure how much decorating is going on here, but look, we've got this embossed wallpaper. Ideally that should be off, I don't know. I'm literally working for somebody else this week, helping them out, another guy, an associate of mine. And he said, I'm overrun with work, can you come and give me a week? I said, okay, I'll give you a week. So this week, all I've been getting is the address and then turning up to the job and having to digest it on the morning when I actually walk into the job, which is exactly what's happening now. So, let's get our work head on. Apparently the floor's been changed. I've got very, very little information to go on. I mean, if that paper's coming off, really, we should trim the top of that back so I can get a nice edge into that, but I don't know if that paper's coming off or not, so really I don't think I can trim that off. I'm just going to have to be really careful and not splash any plaster down it, have a sponge with me and wash it off immediately should I drop any down there. Right, what's the best thing to do? I think the best thing to do is, the first thing to do is go around like I suggested. I'm going to get this adhesive off as best I can and get it as flat as I can. I've got a bit of bonding, I've got multi-finish this week. I've done a couple of videos, I've got one going up tonight, I've got another one to edit, and it's about the state of multi-finish. I've just put a reel up on Facebook talking about how the mix this week, I've never had a problem with multi-finish, but this week I've had a batch of multi-finish and all the material has been supplied by other people, and the multi-finish has been absolutely horrendous to use. I've got a video coming up tonight about it. I've got another one that I need to load up on my computer and edit, where I'll go more into one about that, which hopefully will be up this weekend. And this one that I'm recording now will be the third one in the line. So, So yeah, what we are going to do is scrape all this back. I've got some bonding to fill up these. Obviously, look, it's had a pre-foam in there. Scrape all this back as best I can. I've got PVA as my sealer, my priming agent. I'm going to scrape all this back, and then I'm going to get everything PVA'd up to try and balance out the suction rates in it. This is going to take a few coats of PVA. Maybe SBR might be a better option in here because it's more efficient at killing suction. This painted area is going to have hardly any suction at all. So we've got extreme suction, extreme suction, no suction, extreme, no. So we've got to try and level that out, haven't we? And we've got to put bits up in there. So, right, I'm going to go around and scrape the death out of this room. Where's my trowel gone? I'll just put it down somewhere. Ah, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm going to scrape this back, I'm going to scrape the ceiling. The floor's been levelled recently. I'm going to create a load of dry mess. Okay? I'm going to create all this dry mess because it's easy to sweep up. And then once I've created all the dry mess of scraping the ceiling, scraping these walls, I'm going to sweep it all up, then I'm going to get some sheets over this because plaster sticking to this, if it looks like it was done yesterday or something, it's still very wet. If it had dried out, plaster dropping on it, or getting stuck to it, will be alright because this is cured, but because it hasn't cured, you drop plaster on this and then at the end of the day you try to pop it up, you'll breach the surface of this latex, sorry. Right, let's get to it. Whilst we're here, look, this is not a good look. That's paint coming off of bone dry plaster. This is what happens when you do not do a mist coat. How many layers does that add? This is a very thin, silk over the top. See how rubbery it is? See how flexible it is? And then this is, what it's gone over is something that's not very rubbery at all, as that's cracking up. But this has come off clean as a whistle, look. Now, if you don't miscoat, this is what happens. Now, again, what are we going to do about that? If it's coming off, it's got to come off because we can stick our plaster to this. But if it's only stuck that well, that's how well the plaster's going to be stuck. Maybe on walls it's not quite such an issue because obviously gravity is coming down this way. But the weight of plaster on that is not ideal. If it can come off, it's got to come off. Here it seems to be okay. Hopefully it's just a few certain patches, but we're going to have to sniff them out. Something else here which isn't very nice to come across. It's a bit of old rubbery silicone stuff that they've used to seal some old units. Can't plaster over this. It will keep coming through the surface, so you really do need to get that off. And very often, luckily this isn't too bad, but it can be quite stubborn. We're getting around this and I'm just coming to this section here and look, we've got these rather rusty old wet beads, wet corner beads for floating, and judging by the way that, Jesus, has rusted and the old browning plaster has perished. I mean, how much stuff has that had on it? It's got grit fill on it, it's got whatever this is on it. Ideally, we're going to need to dig this perished plaster out. I can only assume that's where the sink was, that's where the water's coming in, and years of washing up on a not very sealed area has caused this to happen, because this is the worst bit. It must have been here, either that or this window's leaking, but look, don't touch that. Okay, so I've scraped the life out of everything in here. I haven't PVA'd yet. I'm going to do that in a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is cut battens and fill these holes up here. Then I'm going to PVA the ceiling, all the walls, everything. Get some screens up as well, before we PVA. And I've got 2 days to get all this done, which is well handy, because the amount of prep in here is quite a lot, and you can't do it quickly. That PVA needs time to pick up, etc. Some people just think, oh, there's going to plaster that. We've got to sort of prime it. We've got to prime it, and we've got time doing that. We've got time that's got to cure a little bit, because if you try to prime it and then go over it immediately, it's still going to have the suction, blah, 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 blah. This has got no suction at all. So I think really now, getting through scraping this, I think what my quota is for today to get this done, I still got a bit in there. Maybe the 2 ceilings, since they're the easiest things to do. I'll give this a scrape out here, get this light fitting down. If I can get the 2 ceilings done, and then I want to get these PVA'd up, and I've got some bonding and some hardboard. I'm going to have to run over this with a 20x5 carbon steel trowel and try and get this out to a respectable level, because you just can't finish over this. It's just too much, especially the state of the finish that I've had recently. Apparently the multi-finish, it's been bought out, and they have changed the formula. I put a little reel up on Facebook, so I was just talking about that, asking has anybody else been having trouble with this multi-finish, and I've been getting a few replies. I'll let you know as the day goes on what replies I get. I've just posted it over to some other plasterers forums on Facebook, other pages and groups, so I'm getting some feedback from them, other plasterers, to see exactly what's going on with the multi-finish, and it doesn't look good to me. It seems like they might have changed the formula, so I've been just informed. So that is our quota today. That's still quite a lot to do. Get both these ceilings or at least one ceiling. That would be nice if we can do that. I don't know if we're going to be able to get on with all that. Both these ceilings multi-finish, and all these prepped up with bonding and an undercoat, and get them into a condition that I can come in tomorrow and just finish these walls. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Especially for a Friday. Okay, there we go, scrims over everything, where the old pendant was. Right, shall we get swept up in here and start getting some PVA all over everything? Douse the whole everything with PVA. I started on the more porous areas, gave them a coat first, then I went all over the ceiling, and then I went all over the painted surfaces and went back over these porous dry surfaces again. And then to finish off, because even that fluffy roller was struggling, you see here where there's chisel marks and stuff, just the brush managed to make sure I've got good consistent coat all over and inside everything that could possibly be. Really high suction, because like I say, it's so dusty and everything, it's very, very weak stuff, just browning. They don't make it anymore, it's old. But yeah, in here, you can't get it down the back, but you need to kind of get it on the sides as well, because what happened even with the undercoats and some bonders and that, you fill it up every dry, it will strip the moisture out of the plaster far too quickly, and it will shrink back and you'll get crack marks down the side. Might be right for PVA over them again. If that does happen to you, PVA over them again once you fill them if there's crack marks prior to your top coat, your multi-finish or board finish, whatever top coat plaster it is that you are using. Right, this ceiling is still very, very wet. We need that to at least tack up. We knew there would be no suction on that ceiling because of the silk paint. I mean, there's a shop around the corner. I think I'm going to pop down there and get something to eat. I haven't got anything to eat with me. Quite often I don't eat during the day, to be honest with you, but today I'm really quite hungry. So I might do that because there's not much else we can really be getting on with. And this is what I mean with the priming and everything. We need this PVA to pick up. Ideally, this would all happen yesterday and it'd have all night to properly cure and really, really dry. But obviously that hasn't happened and we're in fresh this morning, so it's all got to be done. It's all got to be done in a quick amount of time. So yeah, no relaxing at all, to be honest with you. Yeah. Okay, so I've just run the PVA in here, and this is what we're dealing with. So these are the old Thermalite blocks with browning over the top. And look how dusty that is. Look, slime where I've PVA'd it. What a combination, eh? Thermalites and browning. So as the day goes on, I'm learning more and more about this dodgy plaster. So it's apparently, so I've just been told on Facebook, there's been a problem with the B3s. If you don't know, plaster bags are either in the multi-finish B2 or B3, as it says there. Now, apparently there's been some sort of, so I've heard, some sort of talk that there's been some contamination to the B3s. And it's setting too fast, it's setting weird, and that's exactly what I have been experiencing all this week. Getting worse and worse and worse as the week goes on. If there's no suction whatsoever, which there isn't on this ceiling, and you're going on deep, it's so puddingy and just hanging and sagging under its own weight. So I think what we're going to do in here, just because that might be the contaminated plaster, I think we're going to just get this ceiling on. It might be worth doing the magic mix, you know, what they call, and put a little bit of, a couple of handfuls of bonding in the first coat to be able to take the depth of going over Artex. But I'm not going to do that. We are going to just use multi-finish, is what I normally do, and I'll let it go a little bit further. So let's see what's happening. Now we're just at a point now where this PVA is in a position now where we can actually plaster over it. It's tacking up. So I think what we're going to do is get this ceiling on and finished, and realistically get all these walls in here bonded up and in a position where we can set them tomorrow. Because really, kind of like, if I get it PVA'd as well tonight, again the fresh bonding and stuff, I should be able to get this in one hit, and then tomorrow in the second hit I should be able to get that ceiling out the way. So 2 hits I think, but let's see what happens with this bag of plaster. Right, let's get on with it. can already tell this is the claggy, horrible, nasty plaster that's been going around the B3. Right, so I'm not looking forward to this. Let's get it on and see what happens. God, Jesus, I'll tell you what, this is definitely the worst ever plaster. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but from the video, it doesn't look much different. But let me tell you, that is just like clay. You saw I was having trouble with the scrims. Scrims have been up, stuck on self-adhesive, and I've PVA'd over the top of them. Generally, that like glues them to the ceiling, but you can see it's so sticky and claggy. It's pulled the screws off the ceiling rather than just ride over them. It's really, really hard work, man, this stuff. I've had all week, plus the end of last week, with this contaminated stuff where it is, and it's just been no fun whatsoever. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's the worst I've ever experienced in all my 51 years of plastering. God damn. Like back when I was a young lad and was learning to plaster, I thought to be a plasterer you had to learn how to screed floors as well, which I did. I certainly don't screed floors anymore, that's for sure. Not with my left knee, it just wouldn't allow it. But if you are familiar with screeding floors, so this stuff, it looks like there's no large granules in it, okay? So it's not holding itself together, it's really, really claggy. Now, if you are familiar with screeding floors, you have to use a sharp sand to screed a floor because it's full of shards and it's full of granules, and it's the shards, as you move the screed around, the shards bump into each other and they lock together, very much like a brick wall, how a brick wall works, exactly the same. The shards overlap each other, and that's what gives the cement its strength in a floor, and that's where you need it in a floor. So yeah, you rub it up, the shards all lock together. You're going to get the same sort of thing going on with multi-finish, but on a much finer scale. So if you are familiar with screeding floors, using this multi, the only way I can simulate it to anything is it's like trying to screed a floor, but using soft sand, builder sand, bricky sand. It's just not holding itself together at all. You can't. It's horrible. It's just pure and utter sloppy old sludge. It's like trying to trowel up a sloppy Joe pizza. I'm not a happy bunny. I just can't stop moaning this week. I really can't. It's so dark. It's like the middle of the day, and you know it's winter. The sun's low, isn't it? I've had to get a light out. Right, let's have a look at this scene, and if you can see now, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, sorry. Look at it squidging about. And this is the bleed through from the pattern. This is where it's sagging under its own weight, which we knew it was going to do anyway, but it is absolutely exacerbated. Exacerbated? Yeah, that's a good word, isn't it? I believe they used that in the film Shaun of the Dead. Exacerbated. To make things worse, it has been made worse by this horrible, horrible, plaggy old muck. Now, we can't really apply any more plaster to this wet weight because it's so wet and it's so sandy. That's why it's hanging like that. So if we go and knock up and put our second coat on this now, all we're doing is putting more wet weight on something that's already got loads of wet weight on it. So we really need to let this pick up and go off. But there has been an issue with this stuff going off too fast already. It's going off, but it's still staying slimy. It's really hard to work with. So I think we are just going to have to let it do its thing. We might end up free coating this ceiling, who knows. I've got a little bit left on my hawk. This is going to be in no state, and this left in the bucket a little bit is going to be in no state to knock back by the time we get round to putting the second coat on the ceiling, because obviously we need to leave it that little bit longer. So by the time we get around to using that, that's going to be literally unmovable, unusable. It's going to be, it's too far down the set line to be able to knock it back. So what I'm probably going to do is just lose this in some of the deeper chases, and not put it out to level because it's not designed to go in that stuff. But yeah, I'm just to find some void for it to disappear into, it's going in there. Yeah, it's good in this one. Then look at it. It's stiff, and slimy at the same time. This is multi-finish, people. So yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of moaning, haven't I? Shall we contrast that by being a little bit more like Bob Ross? I believe it was Bob Ross, wasn't it? Our guy used to do the painting show with the exceptionally curly hair. He always quite frequently had a squirrel on his show that he would pet. Now look here, we've got this lovely, lovely window. But it's missing one thing though. It's got 3 people there, and then this little bit of bead here is just sitting in a corner all lonely by himself. So let's trim him up, get him to size so he fits in with the rest of his leg. Let's trim him up like so. Let's see if he fits in there. Absolutely perfect in there. The other beads around the window are just so happy to have him here. And they can all be friends and have their own little window party. for the rest of the existence of this house, which will probably be a very long time indeed. And all the staples are just the icing on the cake, gluing everything together and going through the old browning there, really getting a nice firm grip, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so let's return our attention to this lovely ceiling that's halfway through being plastered. You know what, it's slimy. But in the experience I've had with using this stuff all week, what's been happening is the first coat has been setting and browning off, whilst the second coat is still producing loads of residue. It's getting a load of fat out of it still. So that's why I don't want to leave it too long. Now, I'm going to treat this. It's kind of holding itself together. I think we're going to have to put the second coat on now. We're going to do it. So the news is that actually trailed up all right. I think the first bag, where we put the first coat on, was the manky old gear, and then I opened a new bag to put the second coat on, and it covered a lot better. And subsequently, I treated it as if it was the manky gear, which meant I just gave it one flattening with the 20x5 carbon steel trowel, and then I went straight to the flexi because of the trouble I had with the other. And it's gone down just fine and behaved just as I'd expect it to. Not loads and loads of fat residue coming out of it, the regular amount, and it's trailed up and covered much nicer. In between visits to sorting that ceiling out, I've started putting hardwall over all this nasty area, and that ceiling is probably one trowel away from being finished. So whilst I'm waiting for that to put in, I'm going to get some hardwall on this bit of wall. And then we should be in a good position to get this all complete tomorrow, including that ceiling out there. Let's hope we don't have any more of the manky multi. That's what we're going to call it, the manky multi finish. No more of that, thank you very much. Okay, so we've just got that little bit feathered in there, we've got the ceiling done, and I got hardwall. I used hardwall because I had some that's easier to work with. Ironically, it doesn't go off as hard as bonding, even though it is called hardwall. It's easier to work with, and I'm just going to leave it like this. And the reason why I use hardwall, because it is easier to work with, and look, if you notice, it's been on there quite well, and it's still quite wet. That is the problem with it. It does hang around for a lot longer. If we use bonding, that'll probably be set by now. So tomorrow I'm just going to scrape this back. So I'm going to leave it in this condition. When I come in first thing in the morning, I'm going to scrape with my trowel all these protrusions off and get it in a much more agreeable state to take a coat of multi-finish. And let's hope that multi-finish is not the claggy old horrible multi-finish, and we are back into the regular multi-finish. So what's the date on that? Let's check that out. 26, is that going to be the first? 26th of the 1st, 2026, and it's just coming up to November. It's right at the end of October. And let's have a look at the dates on these ones, what I've got left out here. 26th of the 1st, so that must be the same batch. 26th of the 1st, and what's this one? 26th of the 1st. So let's hope, because I haven't been supplying these materials, I don't know where they've been coming from. So let's hope these are from a different supplier as the ones, the supplier where we had the manky ones from. Let's hope they're all gone. Right, I'm going home. It's Friday. I'm tired. I have told my wife I've got work Saturday as well. So it's Friday today, got work tomorrow. But it's nice and local tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to be that hard tomorrow. I told my wife it's a Sunday. I'm booking Sunday off. Like I'm not. Sundays, we've got decorating to do downstairs. Sunday's the day we do the food shopping, all that stuff. I need a break. I need time off. Right, let's go to work and get on. I've got my coffee here, which is getting stronger and stronger. Oh, I need that. Right, let's go to work. Let's go back to that little room. We've got quite a bit to get through. Okay, so we are back in the room here, and we're in a position to start knocking up with the multi-finish. I'm wondering whether it's going to be the Manky multi-finish or if it's going to be the more regular multi-finish that we're used to. I've scraped all this hardwood down that's had all night to cure and go off, scraped it all back with my trowel, and I've given it a good couple of coats of PVA in an effort to try and balance out the suction rates. We don't want this hanging around and this pulling in really quickly. So we are going from here all the way around to this corner as well. Now, like I say, there's talk about getting this ceiling done out here as well, but I've just had a word with the guy, and apparently all this embossed paper's going to come off on Monday, so I can't really plaster this before this paper comes off, because look, how am I going to brush into this where it curls up? Look, it's a very terrible line to try and get straight, and if I plaster that now and then on Monday, mate, he comes in to look, because I'm gonna see this lump here, see that? I'd end up having to try and fill that out, so you know, you can have trouble unless we've got a nice clean flat edge here. So ideally this paper needs to come off before we plaster this, or at least an amount of it at the top. So I might see if I can get that prepped today. It feels like it's painted, I don't know, I haven't got a steamer, one of those things, isn't it? So let's concentrate on this first of all, because this is the kitchen area. So I think if anything gets left, it will be that out there. But at least we can get all this done, and then matey can get on with fitting the actual kitchen, which is probably the most important thing, because we all know when the kitchen is out of action, it is a very difficult situation. Washing your plates and stuff in the bathroom, you know. So let's crack on. Okay, I only knocked up a small amount because I was unsure what sort of plaster we were going to get, so I've knocked up pretty much under a bag, and we have got this on and all of this window wall. A little bit awkward getting around that old vent up there. I've got that much left in the bucket, which is quite a bit, and I've got this patch on in here in the cupboard, which you can see is rather awkward. So just leaving this wall at the moment. I'm going to go back over this, get this all flattened in, probably feed some of this into there, and then what's left I'll probably knock back into that and get this wall on as well, which is going to be fun and games with all these wires and sockets hanging out all over the place. So we got all these walls on. I've treated that separately, even though it's a small area, it's fiddly, so that was a different gauge, and I am happy to say that this multi-finish has behaved like a dream compared to that other stuff. I noticed the date has changed, even though it's still B3. Absolutely much nicer to use. Absolutely, yeah, what welcome relief. So let's carry on and get this room completed and get out of here on Friday and get this video edited. We're all done now. Ceiling done yesterday. This wall's done today. I'm going. So there you go. I did get home and I did start editing this video, which is exactly what I'm doing now. Let's hope that that is the end of the Manky multi-finish. And it was a short period of a problem where somebody fell asleep at the levers in the British Gypsum factory, and they leant on the lever and put too much of this in there, and they said, what have you done? And I don't know, I fell asleep, you've been asleep. Do you know what, don't say nothing, just push it out there, and we'll sell the product. Let's hope that is the case. So yeah, it has been a bit of an issue with this Manky multi-finish, And like I say, I have been on Facebook on a couple of other plastering forums. There's Plasterers Banter, and I put a couple of reels up about what's happened with the multi-finish, which was absolutely horrendous. And I've had a lot of positive feedback with some other people have experienced exactly what I have experienced this week with this terrible plaster. And towards the end of this job, the date changed on the material that was supplied to me, and I was back into a realm of comfortability where I was used to the multi-finish, and it went down like an absolute dream compared to what I've been using all week. So guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you really quite soon on the next video. Today is Friday. I've got a job to do tomorrow, which is Saturday. Decorating the downstairs. My wife has been painting like a demon. It's Halloween as well, so yeah, she is like she is actually dressed as a demon and painting like a demon. So yeah. See you soon. Take it easy. I was just saying, you've been painting like a demon.
Yes, I have.
And
Well, it's Halloween.
Yeah, I know, and you're also dressed like a demon.
Well, I was wearing a witch outfit at work today, but now I'm in my painting get-up, but I've still got my face on.
But that looks like Freddy Krueger, so it's still relevant.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Freddy Krueger in painty pyjamas.
Yeah, I know, looking good.
That's pretty scary, baby.
Do you love it how you're like the tradesman? I'm a beauty therapist, yeah, I'm the one doing all the hard graft around the house whilst you sit at your desk editing videos.
Yeah, that's all. Because I've been.
So just so you know, he might be good at plastering, but I'm the one that does all the DIY around the house.
Right, okay, right.
Yeah.
Get out there. Get back to it.
Sorry.
Get back and start painting that downstairs kitchen. There you go. Right, see you in the next video, guys. Take it easy. This door fits really nicely now, doesn't it? Look how that works. It was really hanging down low, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really wonky.
How comes it works now?
Because I told you, if you didn't fix it, I'd trade you in for a door fixer. I don't need any plastering done anymore.
I fixed that door.